You are losing half of what you built, and you don't even realize it. While social pressure pushes you toward the next commitment, your assets, your peace, and your freedom bleed in silence. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose why mature, successful men over 50 make a decision that society calls selfish, but which is, in fact, the most expensive wisdom money can buy. Listen to this carefully. The narrative you've swallowed your whole life is upside down. They told you that men with financial and emotional stability who avoid commitment are immature, selfish, incapable of truly loving. They sold you the idea that marrying or moving in together after 50 is the natural next step, the sign that you've finally matured. A lie. The truth is much more brutal and strategic. These men don't avoid commitment out of fear of surrendering. They avoid it because they have surrendered before and paid the exact price for that surrender. They avoid it because they've learned to calculate risk and benefit like you calculate a corporate merger. They avoid it because they know that in a high-value operation, those who enter without due diligence leave without assets. The thesis is simple, and you need to engrave it in your mind. Successful and mature men over 50 often avoid traditional commitments not out of emotional fragility, but as a strategic and rational decision based on past experiences, the protection of their assets and autonomy, and a clear perception of an unfavorable risk-benefit in late-life long-term relationships. They seek companionship and connection, but with structures that preserve their freedom and achievements. This is not cynicism. It's prudence acquired with blood, sweat, and signatures on divorce papers. Now let's get to the tactics you need to name to master. First, post-divorce risk analysis. It's the surgical assessment of financial, emotional, and time losses from past relationships to avoid fatal repetitions. Imagine the executive who lost half his company in the previous separation. He hasn't forgotten. Now he understands the importance of protective clauses and maintaining separation of assets, not just on paper, but in the entire structure of the relationship. Second, the preserved autonomy factor. It's the absolute prioritization of decision-making freedom and control over one's own time and resources as a non-negotiable asset. He loves to travel when he wants, without negotiating itineraries or schedules. No accountability. No having to justify why he prefers a weekend alone at his country house to a forced social dinner. Third, the asymmetric investment dynamic. It's the recognition that the man with established wealth often has much more to lose than to gain in terms of security or status in a new commitment. She seeks financial security and a standard of living. He already has all of that and seeks light companionship without burden. The asymmetry of incentives is real, and ignoring it is expensive naivete. Fourth tactic, asset shielding. These are the legal and financial strategies to protect assets and income before any deepening of the relationship, robust cohabitation agreements, or the conscious decision not to cohabitate in owned properties. Fifth, the light dating strategy. It's maintaining an intimate and fun relationship without the crushing formalities and expectations of a traditional commitment. They travel together, have an active sex life, but each lives in their own home and maintains financial and social independence. Sixth, the search for genuine compatibility. It's prioritizing truly aligned values, interests, and life goals instead of yielding to social pressure or being swayed by superficial attraction. He seeks a partner who shares his love for hiking and entrepreneurship and doesn't want to remodel his house or bring family members to live with them. Seventh tactic, scarcity and abundance management. It's maintaining a mindset of abundant options and high personal value, not becoming dependent on a single partner or external validation. He knows that if this relationship doesn't work out, he has the ability to find another compatible partner. It's not arrogance. It's awareness of his own market and emotional value. Let me show you how this happens in real life. The divorced executive is 62 years old. He went through a contentious divorce that cost him 50% of the assets he built over 3 decades and years of legal stress. Now he's dating a woman 15 years younger. They travel together, have an active social life, frequent restaurants, cultural events, but each lives in their own apartment. He maintains his freedom, his assets untouched, his routine under control. She has companionship, access to a lifestyle she appreciates, without the suffocating pressure of a total life merger. Neither of them is trapped. Both choose to stay every day. The cost of this wisdom was high, but his current peace of mind is priceless. Second case, the single entrepreneur. 55 years old, never married, built a tech company from scratch. He was in a 5-year relationship with a woman who gradually began to push for cohabitation and marriage, implying he was selfish, immature, incapable of real commitment. He perceived the attempt at control and the growing risk to his assets. He chose to end the relationship, maintaining his autonomy, his focus on business, and his weekend hobbies. He lost a partner, yes, but he avoided a commitment he clearly perceived as disadvantageous and potentially devastating. Temporary loneliness cost less than permanent imprisonment. Third, the retired doctor. 68 years old, a widower for 10 years. He felt loneliness closing in and started a relationship with a woman he met at a book club. In the first few months, she was pleasant company, but she quickly started moving into his house without a formal invitation, suggesting decor changes, inviting family members for long visits, rearranging his spaces. He felt his home and his life being invaded. Worse, he discovered that a common law marriage could be recognized without formal marriage, threatening his assets. He had to have a difficult conversation to redefine boundaries or end the relationship. He almost lost his peace and control over his home. The lesson was brutal and expensive. Do you see the pattern? It's not fear, it's learning, it's calibration. But let me show you the mistakes you still make when the pressure mounts. First mistake, yielding to social and family pressure. You accept a commitment to please others, so as not to appear cold, so as not to be alone in the narrative they sold you. The result is growing resentment and irreversible loss of autonomy. Second mistake, underestimating financial risk. You ignore that U.S. legislation may equate common law marriage to formal marriage in many aspects, depending on the state. You don't protect your assets. You don't consult an attorney. You don't establish clear agreements. And one day, you wake up with half of what you built at risk from a relationship that lasted 3 years. Third recurring mistake, confusing attraction with life compatibility. The initial chemistry is good, the sex is good, the conversation flows, and you think that's enough to cohabitate, merge routines, mix finances. You ignore fundamental differences in values, life pace, vision for the future. When the attraction cools, and it always cools, what remains is raw incompatibility and daily conflict. Fourth mistake, the savior complex. You assume the role of provider or problem solver for a partner, creating dependence and structural imbalance in the relationship. She stops growing. You become the father, not the partner. Respect dies. Attraction dies with it. Fifth, ignoring initial red flags. You see clear signs of purely material interest or disrespect for your boundaries, but you rationalize, give second chances, believe she will change. She doesn't change. The abuses only escalate. Sixth, fatal mistake, seeking external validation. You base your relationship decisions on what seems right to your family, your friends, society. You forget that you, not them, will pay the price for the wrong decision. Your autonomy is sacrificed at the altar of others' approval. So what do? How do you act with wisdom without falling into bitter cynicism or unnecessary loneliness? Here is the protocol. First step, do your personal due diligence. Sit down, grab a pen and paper, and honestly evaluate your real priorities. Freedom, assets, companionship, legacy. What is the weight of each? Then list the exact costs of your past relationships. Financial, emotional, time, opportunity. Don't romanticize. Be surgical. This exercise will give you brutal clarity about what you are willing to risk again. Second step, define your clear boundaries from the start. Don't wait 3 months, 6 months, a year to communicate what you are and are not willing to offer in terms of commitment, time, resources. Say it right in the first serious conversation. I don't intend to marry. I don't intend to live together. I won't mix finances. If that's a problem, it's better to find out now than after investing emotionally. Those who stay, stay aware. Those who leave, save you time. Third step, protect your assets without shame. Consult a family law attorney. Understand the exact legal implications of cohabitation, common law marriage, and formal marriage in your state. Take proactive measures. A prenuptial agreement if you are going to marry. A robust cohabitation agreement if you are going to live together. Or simply maintain separate residences. This is not distrust, it is asset intelligence. Fourth step, prioritize value compatibility over physical attraction or status. The beautiful woman impresses for 3 months. The compatible woman builds a decade of peace. Seek partners with aligned interests, life philosophies, and goals, who value autonomy as much as you do. Fifth critical step, maintain spatial independence. Seriously consider relationship models where each maintains their own residence. This preserves autonomy, reduces unnecessary domestic conflicts, and keeps desire alive. You meet because you want to, not because you're obligated by shared rent. Sixth step, cultivate your personal abundance. Invest heavily in hobbies, solid male friendships, projects that enrich your life independent of any romantic relationship. The less you need a relationship to be happy, the better you choose who you relate to. Now listen to the ultimatum. Tomorrow, you wake up and repeat today. The same pressure, the same doubts, the same feeling that you should be doing what everyone expects. Or tomorrow, you wake up with clarity, knowing exactly what you want, what you don't want, and how much you are willing to pay for each decision. The cost of inaction is the slow erosion of what you've built. It's waking up 5 years from now and realizing you lost autonomy, assets, peace of mind, all in the name of a romantic ideal that was never yours. It's discovering that you sold your freedom for social approval that doesn't warm you at night. The choice is binary and brutal. Either you act with the wisdom that decades of experience have given you and structure your relationships strategically, protecting what matters while seeking genuine connection. Or you yield, repeat the same mistakes, and pay again the price you've already paid before. There is no comfortable middle ground here. There is awareness or naivete, strategy or impulse, freedom or a gilded cage. Go to the comments now and answer one thing. What was the biggest invisible cost you've ever paid in a long-term relationship? Financial, emotional, time, opportunity, be specific. This exercise is not for me. It's for you to see the pattern you might be repeating without realizing it. And if you are a man over 50, considering a new serious commitment, tell me what your biggest concern is right now. What keeps you up at night when you think about taking that step? Share this content with a friend who is at this crossroads. Not because I need views, but because this conversation doesn't happen anywhere with this honesty. Society sells you the fairy tale. I'm handing you the real-life operations manual. And if you really want to delve deeper, seek legal information in your region about common law marriage, asset protection, cohabitation agreements. Talk to an attorney, not tomorrow, today. Because here's the final truth no one tells you. Wisdom isn't what you know. It's what you do with what you know. And now you know. You know that avoiding commitment after 50 isn't immaturity. It's strategy informed by expensive experience. You know that relationships can and should be structured to preserve autonomy and assets. You know that genuine companionship doesn't require a total life merger. You know you have options beyond the traditional model that was shoved down your throat. The only question that remains is one. Will you use this wisdom or will you ignore it because it's uncomfortable? Will you act with the rationality you apply to your business? Or will you let your runaway emotions dictate the most expensive decisions of your life? In the next 48 to 72 hours, you will identify at least one invisible cost in your current or past relationships. You will start researching asset protection. You will have at least one honest conversation with yourself about what you really want versus what others think you should want. And when the pressure comes again, and it always does, from family, from friends, from your partner herself, you will have a clear answer. It's not that I don't want commitment, it's that I want commitment on my terms. Terms that protect what I've built, preserve my autonomy, and allow for genuine connection without disproportionate risk. This is non-negotiable. And if that makes me selfish in someone's eyes, that person probably never lost half of everything they built in a separation. You've made it this far because something resonated, because on some level you already knew these truths, but you didn't have the language to articulate them. Now you do. Post-divorce risk analysis, preserved autonomy factor, asymmetric investment dynamic, asset shielding, light dating strategy, genuine compatibility, abundance management. These are not just concepts, they are operational tools for you to navigate the landscape of mature relationships with real personal power. Remember this: long-term relationships after 50 are like high-value mergers and acquisitions operations. They require rigorous due diligence, asset protection clauses, continuous evaluation of the partnership's value and risk. Failure is extremely costly, especially for those with more assets. You wouldn't close a multi-million-dollar deal without analyzing every clause of the contract. Why on earth would you merge your life with someone without the same level of diligence? The answer most people give is romantic and expensive, because love cannot be measured, calculated, or protected with contracts. Beautiful on paper, devastating in practice. True love doesn't demand that you give up your identity or put your assets at unnecessary risk. Mature love understands that structure isn't a lack of feeling. It's mutual respect and awareness that both bring entire lives to the relationship. And those lives need to be preserved, not destroyed. So here is your mission. Take these tools and use them. Do the due diligence. Define the boundaries. Protect the assets. Seek real compatibility. Maintain spatial independence. Cultivate personal abundance. And when someone accuses you of selfishness, of immaturity, of an inability to love, you look them in the eye and say with conviction, I love strategically, maturely, and sustainably. I don't sacrifice what I've built for social validation. I don't repeat past mistakes out of fear of loneliness. I seek partnership, not dependence. Companionship, not imprisonment. And that is non-negotiable. 48 hours. That's the deadline. Identify the invisible cost. Research the legal protections. Have the honest conversation with yourself. And come back here to share what you discovered. Not because I need your engagement, but because you need the public commitment to change. When you write in the comments, you crystallize the decision. When you share, you adopt the posture. And posture transforms into identity. Identity transforms into destiny. The destiny you build from now on is no longer based on social expectations or outdated models that never served you. It is based on acquired wisdom, rational analysis, conscious protection of what matters, and a genuine search for connection that enriches without destroying. This is not cynicism. It is not bitterness. It is not giving up on love. It is the natural evolution of someone who has lived, learned, paid the costs, and decided that the next phase will be different. It will be on your terms. It will be with wisdom, or it won't be at all.